hold it all today, some of it all. There's a voice that cries out in the silence, searching for a heart that will love him, longing for a child that will give him their own, give it all. He won't say. There's a voice that cries out in the silence. He's searching for a heart that is just longing for a child that will give him their own, give it all.
Scotty C got this one.
CFR Network, CFR News. Good day, good night, all. Welcome back. Got the sibling with me, all the way across the pond. You know what they do, Tarnoon. Welcome back to the broadcast line. What they do?
Oh man, true peace, sibling, true peace. Man, I'm glad to be back in the building again. Like, you have to be the best interviewer that I've ever came across, man, and I love it. And every time we come together, it's a beautiful thing. Been busy.
Yep.
Been busy. We about to go in about the Noonebu terror deck, so I can't wait to see what kind of questions that you have, man. So
Indeed. Well. Let's before we get into the detail, unpack what the works you've been doing to produce this. Let's just put it how it is. This masterpiece, man. This work is very good, man. I ain't seen the color versions yet, but yeah, man.
Well, the journey for that started in late 2021, August sometime. I went through a spiritual awakening. Had a couple of things that was going on personally, but when I look back, that's what I realized that it was, because most of my spiritual awakenings was just going from one religion to this, and then running into York and all this other stuff like that. Those were spiritual awakenings too, but this one was more personal, more emotional. And from that point, I just ended up looking into, like, certain stuff from the nature book started coming forward that I never really paid attention to. And a lot of it was talking about brain newts and magic particles and magic matter. And so certain things was going on. I'm like, let me seek a little deeper. And that's when I just went to YouTube and just started looking up tarot readers as far as certain things I was looking for. And a lot of them was just like dealing with magic at first, like different types of magic. I already knew black magic and white magic were different. And then, so I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for more side of the herbal part of it. And that's when I started, reading a lot, because the Noonebu, when they're ruling, in the top half, we have a diagram in the book that the energies that use when Noonebu is involved is plants. And in the bottom of the smash circle order where we at, the six ether and lower gods use animals for the most part when they do using magic and humans and sacrifice. So I knew that automatically. So I just started looking into herbal magic, because that's part of white magic. I mean, black magic uses it too, but white magic is more so where they'll take herbs and you can, burn white candles. You can set your intentions with herbs. You can drink them, it's positive stuff. And I got video in my YouTube that go back about a year ago, and it's called Why Should Noonebus Use Positive Candle Magic? And so when you look into it, I just showed them how to work the candles, herbs, and mix it into how the nature book supports all that type of stuff. So that was the beginning as far as herbal magic type of stuff. And then
when you say when you say herbal magic, the herbal side of it, would that include like white sage in your room, the corners
Yeah,
of the room?
sages. It's different little herbs, stuff that you can actually ingest too. It's all types of little herbs, like you said, sage is this dragon type of sage. I didn't know it was that many types because I was only
Yes.
seeing the gray version. But
Yes.
then there was a red version, a dragon blood one, and then
Dragon bloods.
so I
Yeah.
started going into that. That's what started bringing out other different herbs, and it was healing herbs, to bring money, herbs to protect your house. Taking salt and putting salt outside.
Yes.
Oh man, and the other videos would come in when you start researching that type of stuff. So then I had my household was investigating as well, and so it came into that, and then eventually I started the tarot stuff started coming up. I think the first ones I started watching was they used to have a person would have a deck, they have a pile of cards spread, maybe 4 or 5 cards, and they used to have crystals on each deck, and they have, they'll say, okay, they have it time stamped. So they'll do a whole reading and split up in time span and tell you to pick. So if you pick the third deck, you go into the bottom of the video and then the time stamp the third deck. And then that's how I started seeing that if this was true or not, I'll pick this one. They'd be like, whatever problem you may be going through, pick one of these decks. And I used to do that. And it was always very, very accurate because it was just guessing.
Yes.
But then I started revolving into my sign, which is Capricorn, and it was different ones. You had tarot card readings for love, karma, just general readings and stuff like that. So I used to watch a lot of them just so I can glean enough from it. Because if you watch 2 or 3, some of them will be, because it's a general reading, it's not a personal reading, you're not going to get 100% accuracy.
Yeah.
I started doing that because I'm like, I'm not ready to spend no money on this for a personal reading, but I was mostly testing the things by watching a lot of them, and then I would watch zodiac signs of other people because I was beginning to get more and more acclimated with it. So from 2021 to July of 2023 was me doing a lot of research, and then I started releasing videos, and I got videos, noon signs and astrology, noon sign and astrotheology, and noon signs in the natal chart, because I started studying the natal chart too, and that's when I started getting more personal. But I like to study things to understand, because I didn't know tarot was based on this the zodiac, astrology, and astronomy as well.
Yes.
And it's that tarot is a part of all of that, and people who don't know that don't understand it. Then I start running into certain tarot readers that do more than just read the cards. They could tell you about the natal chart. They could tell you about what's going on in the sky at the time, transits and what's that, retrogrades and all. I mean, that's a lot. But for them, they was able to keep all that in their head, and then they offer different services. And then I seen people, making comments about certain things, and it was just a lot of them that the tarot world is just not the tarot world. It's actually an extension of a whole science. When I started researching in ancient times, they used to say today they try to say astrology is pseudo, but when you go back far enough, astrology and astronomy were together. Astronomy, they say it talks about how stars and the orbs work, right, on a scientific level. But astrology talks about their behaviors,
the relationship outside of the movements of those celestial bodies. Yeah.
Right. And so the Caucasian, mankind started, mostly the Caucasian, he separated all this stuff and compartmentalized it. But in ancient times, you couldn't separate math over here and then put history over here and excavation over here. All of that stuff was taught together.
Yeah.
But the Caucasians separated it so they can make money and also keep it separate, and then they can do what they want to do with it and then stretch it out. Just like school and all other stuff. You go to school, if you ain't learning everything you need to know between 12 years of going to school, something is wrong there. And then you got to go, 4 years of high school. No, that's high school. Then you go, there are other couple years of universities and all this extra stuff. All that stuff was separated so they can drag out
Exactly.
our people and make us and be able to come in and out and just the dumbness that come with that. But but I got videos that dealt with that and I connected it with the help of Sound Right Region. So that was my journey. And again, as I look back on it, at a certain point, I started realizing that because the tarot will say that. Eventually I got a few readings done here and there, but mostly I was studying how to add on to the actual tarot thing itself. So I did a few just to test. And I had a few black tarot readers, I think a few Caucasian tarot readers, and maybe a non-Caucasian. But it was I think under 10 though, because I was so used to listening to so much. A lot of the things they were saying I had already heard and knew, but certain things that I wasn't sure that they touched on, I was able to put that in that. So if I was to put that on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 7 of the stuff me listening to people without paying was already understood, and I got that extra 3 from things, because personal is what it means. And when they do the readings, the cards will focus on whatever that you want the person to ask. That was the first part. But then I started running upon readers who was making their own. They had blank decks and they would write on them themselves.
What?
And then they would utilize them within a regular tarot deck. Some people just had their own, and I was like, that was when it amazed me. I'm like, okay, so I don't have to be stuck within the ones that people been using for decades. People was innovating their own. I said, oh snap. And that's when I said, I'm gonna do my own after that. I was gonna add on to what was there, but then I'm like, when I start seeing that and testing it myself, I'm like, yo, I can do this. And that's when Sound Right Reason was like, yeah, use it and base it on Noon. And I seen Christians, is one that I follow now, certain Christians, and I even seen Muslims. But the Christian ones, they would take their own cards and they would have stuff like David and Goliath, Samson. I mean, it was dope how they was utilizing the stories in the Bible, and it was still working. But because I had knowledge of that stuff, when they was doing whatever topic, it was, I'm telling you, that tarot world is a monster when it comes to you being able to figure out your problems and help you divination between making decisions. Should you do this? Should you take this job? Should you move out of town? Should you go on vacation? Should you go into work today? Should I go? All of that stuff is up to how strong and proficient you want to be. And that's the thing I liked about it, because you don't have to sit here and go day for day wondering or guessing from your own self. Because of the spiritual negativity that we have on us, tarot and other divination is why these things were created in the bottom half, because spirit beings can control and make us experience and see things that are not there and just give us all type of wrong information. So I already knew that through Noon and watching what happened in the world. So when I got to that, I'm like, yeah, I need to do my own.
So there's a major difference between, but before I even go there, explain to me, sibling, the how does it work? I mean, you gave a brief explanation. So they've got blank cards, and then they will write symbols or words or something, and then you utilize that in the form of a reading, but then correlate that to a standard tarot deck?
Right, because you can use either one to confirm the other one. So, like, let's say you got, and they made different ones.
Mhm.
Now, some people, I'm gonna give you the simplified version. Let's say you want to make you a deck. Say you got 78
Eight.
cards,
Yeah.
blank cards,
Mhm.
and you want this to be a relationship deck. So everything you would write will be in a relationship in those cards. So you put marriage, cheating, boyfriend or girlfriend, dating.
Okay.
It depends on the person. So some people will use the standard language. Some people put boo thing, side chick,
Yes.
you know, and they will mix it up.
Yeah.
And so if they're doing the regular cards, right, a general reading. So you just go to a person on their YouTube and just type in general reading, tarot reading. Just say you just pick one, and they say that, and the person they be like, okay, we're gonna do a reading on relationships, and they're using the regular cards. So they'll sit there and then they'll flip, and then sometimes they'll be able to hone in on one story that they're seeing that's consistently coming out in the cards.
Mhm.
And then, okay, well, somebody who's out here who's listening, one of y'all or some of y'all are going through a divorce scenario. And then they will go and pull out their relationship deck, shuffle it, and then cards will come out confirming what she just said. And you can do that vice versa. And so when you write your personal deck, you can be more thorough in the topic, because the cards will say this. Say you may get a marriage card, but if they are an intuitive reader, the person can get more information from just the card that came out that represent, let's say, divorce. So the spirit and their intuition is talking to them and telling them, yeah, this is somebody that's watching is going through a certain kind of relationship aspect in this negative, and then they will go to two other decks. And I watch people who have like Dragon Goddess Tarot. She's a Hindu reader, and she's a daughter of a Brahma priest. She would grab 4 different decks at one time and just be going in, and she predict assassinations. People done got attempted murders. People that was gonna go to jail. The girl is no joke. Her name Dragon's Goddess Tarot, DGT for short.
Okay.
And
What kind of deck is she using? Is it the Wave Smith?
she used a lot of them. She got a lot of ones. She some of those be in there too. I mean, when you go to the I'm sorry, this GDT, Goddess Dragon Tarot. I apologize. But when you go to these people's channels, they have a whole display. Some people have a wall behind them.
Oh, just tarot.
And I'm telling you, I've seen so many ways that this thing goes. I'm like, man, it's definitely beautiful. But before, when you go back in time, like in movies, the movies always made it look crazy because they mixed it up with the gypsy. And you used to have the old white lady there with the crystal ball,
the crystal ball,
and the tarot,
and
her background look all spooky, so that throws you off. So that's my memory of tarot. But they didn't put it like tarot. The tarot will be there, or you see somebody going to some creepy circus, and they'll put a coin in a machine, and the guy look like he a magician.
Yes.
And he'll go and put a card in it to come out, and you look at it. So they always tried to make it look one way. And so when people start looking at it, our memories from that. So a lot of people say, man, it's not true, it's a joke, it's devil, it's evil. No, you can make cards, evil tarot cards. I've seen those too. When I research, I look at the good and the bad. But the point was, you can make your own, whether it's just regular blank card. People also want to design their own professionally. And I've seen other people that's negative create their own demonic tarot deck. So it depends on who made it and all that stuff too. You know what I'm saying?
So going into the, and we won't pardon self, we won't spend too much time on this elements of it. But the negative deck, what is that gonna do?
Well, the one guy that I put in a video, right? I think it's called it's called Are You a Tarot Reader? 1 and 2. It's part 1 and 2. And the guy was that I came across. He made tarot cards and assigned demonic energies and spirits to each card. He put their name in it, the occult insignia that they use, and that's for people who knows what they're dealing with. Like and these demons come and do the same thing that the regular tarot do because you're asking certain questions, but he'll put the insignia on there to protect you from it. But you got people that like to play that type of way. But the ultimate thing is they still gonna give you the answer to what you're looking for. Now, whether you can trust them or not, that's where you run into, that's the gray area. Me, I wouldn't use them because I understand I don't have to go that route. You see what I'm saying? So, but the person tells you what type of deck it is. It's in the instructions. You have to do your research in origins and the person that's creating it. You see what I'm saying? That's why my book is so thorough when you read it, the introduction and stuff like that. So yeah, it's different ways. You can make your own right now and based off of you and your energy.
Yes.
You know, so but also when you get the deck, I'm gonna let people know, when you buy a deck from somebody else, even us, when you get the deck, they tell you to cleanse it. So you can just burn sage around the deck, the outside box, open up the box and, rotate the cards around sage. Anything that got smoke can cleanse a deck. So you can just burn a piece of paper and place it over the smoke coming off of the burning piece of paper. Yeah. You can put it over some charcoal, and anything that has smoke on it will cleanse it. You see what I'm saying? Then you knock on it, the deck some say 3 times. I put 9 times because 9 is the African racist number. Yes, and you knock on it 9 times and you shuffle it, put your energy on it, and you make moves. Some people don't like to let you touch their deck because the other person energy on it. Yes. But it doesn't matter because when I was letting people see the deck, again, you just re-cleanse it. If you have to let somebody see it and touch it, it's okay. After they get through with it, just burn some incense or sage or some smoke.
Yes.
And it'll cleanse it, and you just knock on it again, and it's how you reset the deck. It's basically what I'm saying. Just like shuffling, you resetting the deck so it don't put back the same thing that was on it. Because all these people, when you playing cards, it's the same thing. When you playing blackjack 21, it don't matter. When they grab the deck and you doing it like that, you're resetting the deck every time. People don't know that.
I didn't think of it that way. I did not think of it that way at all. Hey, moonlight. Can you cleanse it via moonlight as well? The decks, like,
people got different ways. If you want to, you can put it in the moonlight. You can put it in the daylight. You can put a stone over it, and the stone, that whatever type of stone you like to use, can charge the deck. It's multiple ways you can do it. People blow on the deck. Some people hold the deck, pray over the deck. It's so many ways that I've seen that it's no one wrong way to do it. That's the point.
Okay. All right. Lastly, break down what's the difference with the major and the trump cards. I've never fully understood that.
As far as tarot, they have major arcana and minor arcana, right? The major arcana is cards that deals with big life decisions. So when you watch them and they say, "Oh, this is a major arcana card," like the Fool card, that's a major, because the Fool deals with new beginnings and going into something, blind. And that's why they had a Fool like about to step off the cliff, because you about to do something big. Whether it's positive or negative, the card come up in the upright, it's positive at the beginning. If it's in the reverse, it can be negative in the sense that you're not really looking at the pitfalls. That's why it's a cliff there. So it can be a good stepping off into the unknown, or it could be you stepping off into something dangerous. So the minor card, the major just are big life. It signals that something big is here. When they have smaller arcana, those will be smaller things that's going on in your world. That's why they have major and minor arcana, and then you have other cards in it that's breaking up into different settings, dealing with age, money, business decisions. And what makes tarot so crazy, because when you mix them together, it gives you a whole bigger story. So you may get one thing about the fool may come out, and that means there's a new beginning. And then another card may come out that deals with money. That means you're about to have a new opportunity to make money. So you have to know how to read the cards together after you read them separate. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot. It depends on the mentality of the person and how they able to interpret and weave it together. And this is why you have to practice this stuff every day. You see what I'm saying? So all of them tarot readers are my teachers, because I listen and I study the style. I studied, and I got tarot books that I wrote personally. I ain't even put out yet. I may put them out, because these were all reflections of what I've learned in the time that I was studying them. I have a lot of tarot books that I was using to understand. I was writing down my understanding. And so I may do that. I may if as the cards, get around and people start purchasing and we start having conversations, and maybe I get to visit other people's channel and I see that they may want to look at how I bridged it. Those books I wrote personally will actually show you how I got to where I got with our deck.
Perfect. Let's jump straight. Excuse me. So the document itself, or the
Right.
book, this is something that comes along with the decks, yeah?
Yeah. It's in the book. What you got is that comes with each personal deck. Everybody has that in the tarot deck when they get it. They all going to get a major introduction and major explanation. It's stuff in there that's not on the cards. It's going to blow their mind away even more. And that's what I'm saying. It was because Sound Right Reason and the orbs was helping me with this stuff. It's a universal deck. It really is. It really covers everything.
So just to confirm, I mean, do other decks have such in-depth information, or
Not like this, because a lot of them, because the way the tarot decks that they're following came from Europe and Italy, those people some of them were into occult societies, and so and then they was using old forms, words like pentacles. Pentacles is an old European word term for money. People don't use that word now. And then when you look at this, the symbol on the pentacle is like a pentagram. You see what I'm saying? So the symbols go back to a certain type of understanding that they had. So a lot of the information was coded, and it kept them in a certain kind of box. But other people who started adding their own, eventually it was able to be expanded itself versus the tarot that we're using, because that's the only difference. That's the only similarity our deck has with the other deck is just the word tarot. And anything else is talking about the cards don't necessarily reflect that, but the intuitive of the reader and their helper spirit will say, this is this, or they'll be like, oh, the universe is telling me this. So the same powers that we're speaking of and showing in our cards, they can pick it up and they will use that. So they'll say the universe is saying this. We actually pointing out parts of the universe that is actually doing the talking and what they represent, the energies that they have, and what does it mean when this card or cards pop up together. So the readers themselves are adding things in that the cards don't necessarily say. unless the person who drew the cards put imagery in the cards, and then they'll be like, see, look at the background. This has a black hole right here.
Yes.
And they'll say, I'm getting from this that somebody life is being sucked up into whatever. That's how the reader does that.
Mhm.
But most of their cards that out, especially the old school, they don't have universal drawings and stuff on there. You see what I'm saying? It just came with time.
So going on to this, let's see, page 4. This is something I want to go into.
Okay, let me get to page 4 so I can see what you're talking about. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
New mythology.
Right.
What was the importance of including this element in it?
Because it's in the it's just giving you how all of this came together as far as Noon, because Noon, spelled Noone, science, comes from what they call Nu or Nun, which is the chaotic waters.
Yes.
The planet that actually Noon science is named after is Mary or Mercury. Mercury's chemic name is Nun. So when you say Noon science, it's also about Mercury is the planet of communication and technology and all of that. So this is just showing you how the word Nu is used. So if you read it, it goes into Nu, because I'm giving you an origin. The other tarot readers, they can't do that.
Exactly.
They don't have a real origin. They're debating about where it comes from. They're not sure. But Sound Right Reason and Noon Science is the science of the universe itself. It's the original science. So I have to, this information is telling you where it all stemmed from. And when other people who listens to this later on, they can pull their own cards and say, is this true? And their cards is gonna tell them yes. This is what makes what we're doing so amazing, because it can't be, it's not hiding. It's out in the front. And you got millions of tarot readers around the world, and all of them, all they got to do is shuffle their deck and pick out anything in our video, get the books themselves and say, and read it. That's how Sound Right Reason set it up. See, if something can't be directly tested by various individuals all at once with a tool, then they don't know that. And this is why a lot of my videos that I'm gonna do later on, I'm gonna be testing religion. I'm gonna be pulling out stuff like, okay, was Abraham real? Watch what happened. You see what I'm saying? Was Moses real? Watch what comes out. Because they're not utilizing the tools right.
Scotty C got this one.